Okay, so there it is. Before I continue on, how's the sound, Nicole? Everything okay? Sounding better?
I think that's about as good as we're gonna get with Zoom. So yes.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, let's go ahead and break down the tune a little bit. I'll just play it nice and slow for you. Again, I'm kind of covering fairly simple tunes. They're not too complicated. Um, but I think the only main trick, main understanding is that these are polskas. They're in 3/4 time. They can have sometimes they can sort of sound to the untrained ear as if they're in 4/4, but they're not. They're in 3/4. So not a waltz, but a polska. So here we go. How's that? Anybody want me to do it some more? Do it again? Yes? No? Do it again? Okay, I'll do it again. A little slower. Okay, so that's the melody there, more or less. I may not follow exactly what I printed on the paper, but that's more or less the bones of the A part. Now the B part is so simple. It's just these repeated eighth notes. They're so boring that I try to do things with it because otherwise it gets just too simple. But it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. that's so boring that to make it interesting, I do try to do all sorts of things, especially with. Or I kind of just add little arpeggios and little sort of extra things in there. It's basically sort of just a chord pattern that you can pretty much do anything so long as it has that. All right. So does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want me to do that again? How you all looking? We're all good?
The only thing in the chat so far is beautiful song.
Yes, it is a really wonderful song. This is such a lovely, happy, joyful piece. And even though it's so simple, like all these other tunes, it has a lot of musical, I don't know, a lot of musical content to it. It makes it really, really fun to play.
We often open our open our concerts with this song.
We open our concerts with this particular piece, and it always makes people come alive and quite happy. So let's play it about 3 or 4 times, and we'll play it up to speed, and hopefully that'll give you a good taste of it. Whatever you like. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's 1814 for you. I hope you like that tune. Any questions about it? Anything? Anybody have any comments or anything they want to bring out? No? We're good?
Nothing
Okay.
in the chat.
Okay. All right, we're going to play now another really cool tune. It's going to go to G minor. This is a tune written by one of my favorite Nyckelharpa players. Her name's Josefina Paulsen, and she was the the international Nyckelharpa champion back about 3 or 4 years ago. And she wrote this tune, and it's very, very cool. Very, very, it's a very kind of rock and rollish tune. So it's in G minor, and it's called Polska Till Atom. Polska for a guitar player that she played with for a long time named Adam. So is everybody, while you guys are either finding the music, Lisa and I are going to play it for you. In G minor.
And so there's no middle section.
No middle section. 1, 3. All right. There is Polska Till Atom. So this is a different kind of polska, even though the beats are regular. It's because of this sort of dump da dump da dump da dump da dump to feel to it. It's considered a different type of polska, and I forgot the name, but it's sort of from a region of Sweden that's noted for this kind of pulse. So it kind of is like almost I guess you would sort of think of it as a hornpipey polska of some sort. So here we go, and it has that very cool C sharp in it as well. So I will go ahead and play it for you nice and slowly so you can kind of get the idea of how it goes. Here we go. Let me play that phrase for you again. And one more time. And then going on. And one more time. And then it repeats. And that's how it ends. So I'll play it for you, the whole thing for you, nice and slow again. No, I'm not sure if that's a G sharp or a an F sharp or an F natural right there. I think it sort of can be either, and I'm not sure which I play it. I have to do it fast to know. Anyway, it's either an F natural and F sharp. I can't remember. How's that working? Is everybody getting that? Any comments, Nicole?
So far, the chat just says, "Wow, what a great tune!"
Oh, yeah, great. Love giving out great tunes. All right. Do you want me to play it again, folks, or do you want me to go on?
There's a
Well,
yes, please.
yes, play it again? Okay. Here we go. One more time, nice and slow. So that was the first part of the A part, and here's the second part. So that's the whole thing. Okay. So let's go on to the next part, which is even cooler than the A section. It's got this cool sharp fourth, I think. So that's the first half of the B section. And then repeats. How's that working? Anybody have any comments? Any details you want to hear about that? You want me to do it again? Yes, no? Okay.
You're all so quiet today.
Yeah, everybody's very quiet. Okay, well that's all right. We got a thumbs up. I see some of the. Thank you for the thumbs
Or
up.
alternately being polite.
It's very hard for me to read your faces or get what your reactions are because you guys are just sort of 100 faces on the screen for me right now. All right, so I'm going to play one more time all the way through relatively slowly by myself, and then I'll have Lisa come back and we'll play it 3 or 4 times. And of course, remember, you can always learn this on your own. There's plenty of recordings and other ways to get the material. So here we go. And again. The B part. And again the B part. Okay, so there we go. That was the slow version, and I'll bring Lisa back, and we'll play it through about 3 times, or 4, depending on how much we're enjoying it. So this tune really has a very rockin' sort of, yeah. Lisa starts off with this sort of droney thing. You know what? I just realized it is an F natural because I played it fast. I realized it is an F natural. I don't think there's an F sharp in there. So apologies for teaching that incorrectly, but now I've confirmed it is an F natural. Here we go, one more time.
You should count everyone in.
Okay. 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That was full scale to Adam.
We've got a couple of questions in the chat about what the accompaniment rhythm is.
Well,
it's called heavy metal bass from the 80s. And I'm pretty much staying the same. And then sometimes I break it down into chords. Why don't you do the count for it? Do the count to show me.
Here we go, the count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So it is a polska. It has that 3-1, but it's slightly different than the other polskas that we've been doing, which have a dum da da dum 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 da da dum da da dum dum. Those were more slang polskas. This is a different type of polska. Are any other questions?
Yeah, there's another question there. Well, one person said the guitar sounds nice, but somebody else asked if you could demo the various ornaments indicated in the printed music and if all the slurs were invariable. And somebody asked
Is
Lisa.
this the Haliburton?
Somebody else asked what the make on your bouzouki is, Lisa.
Boy, there's a lot of questions there. Okay, so the objective of this class is really to introduce tunes and not go into the specific details of slurs and ornamentation. That's going to be that could just take forever. Suffice to say that the best way, there are certain kinds of Swedish ornamentation that's a little different or a bit different from what you would hear in Irish music or so forth. My best suggestion for you for that kind of ornamentation is to actually go to Olaf, for example, can teach you some of those specifics. With regard to the bowing on this particular one, it's pretty straightforward. And I just kind of slurring it. But in terms of when you ask whether or not they're invariable, no, that answer is not. You can vary it all you want, as long as you get that feel. That's what's the most important part. That polska feel and that kind of dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. Regarding Lisa's instrument, that's actually not a bouzouki, that's a cittern. It's got 5 courses, and it was made by a luthier nearby us in Newburgh, J.D. Armstrong. So that's where we got that.
10 strings, and I tune it in like a dad-gad sort of tuning. So it's actually DG, DG, DG.
Actually, it's GD.
GD, GD, GD. And the guy whose name made it is GD.
So,
but anyway, and then I go into the keys, whichever the capo's determines the key. So it's the same chord shapes in every single key, which is really great.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Roger Tollroth from Vessen is sort of the most well-known guitarist in Swedish music, and he tunes his instrument very strangely, but it's also an open tuning. So it's got a similar
He's
feel
got
to
a
it.
big bass note for his lowest guitar note.
Yeah, he uses a bass string for his low.
That's why they sound so cool.
Are there any other pressing questions? Otherwise, I'd like to go on to the next one, the next tune, which is equally as cool. We're all good? All right, well, we're going to go to play another rockin' tune. This is another minor tune. This is Polska Fran, that means from, Hällefors, which is a region, a little county in Sweden. And this particular tune is a fairly popular tune. That is, if you were to bring it out and see some Swedes playing some Swedish music, and you said, "Well, do you know this tune?" They would say, "Yes, we know this tune." This is a fairly popular sort of jamming tune. It's not very obscure, in other words. And Lisa's tuning up. So, any questions while she's tuning up? I actually can go to the chat and see if anybody has any comments. There we go. Polska from Hällefors. Oh, you're right. Bouzouki is a generic term. No, it's not a crump. Yeah, as we said, it's J.D. Armstrong. G.D. Excuse me, G.D. Armstrong. And this one's an A minor. All right. So here we go. Polska från Hällefors. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was Polska von Helleforschness.
See all those turkeys? There's like 20 turkeys right outside of our window.
We have
enormous big turkeys.
Yes, there's a parade of turkeys. Just as I've been saying with a lot of these tunes, the main thing I want to impart for those people who are new to Swedish music is that this is a Polska, which means it's in 3/4 time. It's not in 4/4 time. It's not a 4/4 tune that's crooked. It is a 3/4 time that's straight. You have to get this sort of pulse. Da da dum bum ba dum ba da da dun 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 dun. 3/1, 3/1. And if you don't count it properly, there's a tendency for people at the very end of each phrase of the A part and the B part to shorten the note, the very last note, because they think it's in straight duple meter and it's in triple meter. So you want to, at the very end, you have to hold that note out for a full 2 beats, otherwise you're going to mess up the dancers. So here's Polska from Helleforschness, nice and slow. The unusual thing about this tune also is that it's an A minor, but it starts on a G, which is a full second away. So it's pretty bizarre. It's or seventh down, on the 7th note. So it's just kind of very strange. So we'll start on that G. And one more time. And going on. And that's the first half of the A part, and the second half it repeats. And I'll do it again. And again. How's that working for everybody? Everybody okay with that?
There is one question about, not about that specifically, but asking if the tunes that we're learning are all more recent ones, more modern compositions, or if any of them fall into the older folk categories.
For the first tune that we learned, that we did today was 1814, and that dates back at least to 1800s because it came from a manuscript of 1814. The second one was definitely modern. That was written by Josephina Paulsen, and this one falls back in traditional. So this is an old tune. I don't know how old it is, but it certainly doesn't have anybody. There's no composer. This is a public domain piece. All right.
And then somebody asked if you could aim your harp so that we can see your fingering.
Oh, I'll do my best. I will. You're not going to see my face now. You'll see my fingering. I don't know if you can get underneath there because I have a row of keys that is hard to see. I have to do it like that. Try my best. Okay, here we go. Polska from Polska from Helleforschness. Nice and slow. And then How's that? Is that better? Did you see that? Okay, great. Let's go on to the next part, the B part. It starts on that E. It goes. Okay. Just a quick comment for those of you who are playing the nickel harpa. I do have my nickel harpa tuned to the Swedish C tuning, not to the D tuning. So when you sometimes see me on the second row playing a note that looks like it's wrong, it's because instead of being tuned to this note is not tuned to a D, it's tuned to a C. So I'm not sure if that matters, but for the rest of you, it's just kind of a weird thing about the nickel harpa. Do you want me to play that again, or should we move on? Are we good? Any comments? We're all good? Okay, Lisa, come on back. We're going to play Polska från hela Forsnäs together again. All right, why don't you give us a little intro there? Dum dugga dum dum dugga dugga dum. 3, 1, 3, 1, and. There you go. Polska from Hellefors. Does anybody have any questions about that?
All I see in the chat is love that one.
Yeah, that is a definitely, how should I say, a star tune. That's a tune you can pull out anytime and not only enjoy for yourself, but everybody who you play it for and with enjoys it as well. So put that on the top of your list for Swedish repertoire. All right, we're going to go and play a different number. This is actually a little bit more of a rare, that is less well known tune called Nora's Polska. Nora's Polska. And this has sort of a little bit of a Norwegian feel to it. I believe this actually probably comes from the border of Sweden and Norway. So it just has that sort of interesting harmonic textures, which make it a little bit more Norwegian than it does Swedish. And this one's in G major.
Somebody in the chat says they don't want whichever one we're playing to end.
Oh, well, hopefully that's the case with every tune that we play. So that's, I hope you feel that way about the next one we're about to play.
Somebody else said that they agree, and these tunes could be played for at least 10 minutes straight, and they wouldn't get sick of them.
Yeah. They're workhorses, but they're horses that you like to get on the ride for sure. So, okay, Lisa and I are going to play. You guys can, as I said, you can always, of course, you're at home. You can do whatever you like. This is Nora's Polska. Do you remember the chords and everything?
So.
Okay. We'll give it a try. This Lisa just learned this tune, so we'll see how it works out.
Wish me luck.
1, 2, 3. That's all right. Lisa will get it on the top when we come back and play it again. Those were fine chords. Those worked out great. So again, another very simple tune, but a lovely little melody, and it's got that sort of lovely sort of Norwegian. So I think that's a sharp fourth. So that's what gives it that sort of very peculiar Nordic Norwegian flavor. It's very simple. It's going to go very fast. It's easy in the fingers. It just starts. I'll give you a little bit more angle there. that's the A part. Very, very simple. And then for the B part, and it repeats. And I will make one little comment. There is a variation on this where instead of playing an F sharp on the descending line, you play an F natural. So go. You can play an F natural there, but everybody has to agree. If you're playing it in a group, everybody has to agree that you play the F natural. So just letting you know that, and in fact, it's probably a blue note, which means that for those of you who are fiddle players or can play in between, instead of playing an F sharp or an F natural, you should play something in between. It should be kind of a weird, bluesy, weird note right there. One more time, all the way through. I'll play it nice and slow, and then we'll have Lisa come back. Sorry about that. And then the B part. Alrighty. Has everybody got that, more or less?
There's a couple of questions, or rather, one of them says they can imagine songs being played at a wedding, and somebody else said a lovely tune, and they're curious about the history, and if you had resource suggestions or time to speak about the history of the music.
I have a little bit of time. This particular tune I found it on an album by Ulrika Bolin, who is a well-known singer in Sweden. And I've actually scoured the internet to find out more about this particular tune, and I cannot. I learned it from her recording, and she doesn't even have any information about it. So this is as yet to be, how can I put it? There's no information I have on it other than I thought it was a really great tune, and she credited it as a traditional tune. But as far as I know, she's the only other person who's recorded it. So it is rather obscure. The other tunes, I don't have that information directly right on hand, but I do have a book of Swedish tunes that we're playing from. It's called Swedish Bridging Tunes, and in there I do have some history. So if you email me, I will try to dig up the history. Only thing I can tell you is that Polska Till Adam, which is the second tune we learned or we played today, is written by Josefina Paulsen, and the rest of them are traditional. So.
And what's your email address for folks who need it?
Sure. I'll type it in. I'm going to type it in the chat right now. There you go. So it's in the chat. Is my email address.
And then that same person was asking, they were wondering about the history of the traditional music, the history of this tradition, I think.
Of Swedish music?
They say they're going to email you.
Yeah, that would take 50 years, and I wouldn't even begin to start. So, Swedish music, traditional Swedish music. Yeah, we'll definitely email. All right.
One other question about this specific tune, and that is if the person you got it from sings words to it on her recording.
She just lilts this. She just has that sort of singing, sort of that. What do you call it? La la la's and dum de dums.
Maybe you should spell her name into the text. Can you?
I don't have that on me. Ulrika Bolin.
It's on the sheet music.
It's on the sheet music. It's on the sheet music. Yeah. All right. We're kind of running out of time, and I was hoping to get to at least one more tune, but I don't think that's going to happen. So let's just play this one and a few more times, and we'll call it a good. Oh, and another thing too, this is the last, we're going to have 2 more workshops, but this is the last workshop that Lisa is going to be playing backup with me. She has another job that she's going to be going to. She has a clothing store that she has to open, so she will not be here. So the next couple of days will just be me and you guys. So,
thank you so much, Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Lisa, so
welcome.
much. Yep, she makes us all sound good. Without her,
You'll still sound good.
we'll still sound good, but she makes us sound even better. All right, here we go. Nora's Polska. 1, 2, 3. All right. There
One
you
more
go.
hour? What? Just one more hour?
We'll have one tomorrow. We'll have one tomorrow. I'm really happy that you enjoyed those tunes, and we'll have good ones for you on next 2 days. They'll be just as rockin'. I think the last day will just be waltzes, so that's my theme for the very last day. Alrighty, thank you all very much, and I hope to see you all tomorrow.
And lots of thank yous and love it and applause and things in the chat, and lots of thank yous to Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. Wouldn't be able to do anything without her. Okay, thanks so much, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you. Great.
Take care.